As I began my journey into Stoicism, I realized that its teachings reached far beyond the mental and emotional realms. I discovered a powerful connection between Stoic philosophy and how I treat my body, particularly in the realm of healthy eating. The Stoics believed that the body and soul are interconnected, and through mindful nourishment, we could cultivate not only physical health but also mental clarity and spiritual balance. My exploration of Stoicism revealed that the way I eat directly affects the harmony between my body and soul, and it transformed my approach to food forever. Mindful eating, a Stoic's approach to self-control. One of the foundational Stoic principles is the idea of self-control, knowing how to moderate our desires and act with wisdom. It was easy to apply this concept to food, as I began to understand that many of my previous habits were driven by impulse rather than rational choice. Like many, I was susceptible to cravings, emotional eating, and the allure of fast food. But Stoicism taught me to pause, reflect, and make conscious decisions about what I put into my body. Epictetus's teachings on controlling what is within our power were key. I could not control external temptations, but I could control my reactions to them. When I found myself craving something unhealthy, I would ask myself, is this truly nourishing me, or am I being led by fleeting desires? In embracing this Stoic practice of mindful eating, I slowly developed a deeper connection with the food I consumed, choosing options that aligned with both my physical and spiritual well-being. Simple foods, simple life. Embracing Stoic simplicity. The Stoics valued simplicity in all aspects of life, and food was no exception. They believed in consuming only what was necessary to sustain health and energy, avoiding overindulgence and the luxury of excess. I began to see how the modern world promotes overconsumption, not just in material goods, but in food as well. From portion sizes to the overabundance of processed options, we are bombarded with more than we need. Inspired by Seneca's writings on simple living, I embraced a minimalist approach to my diet. I cut out processed foods, refined sugars, and the overwhelming array of choices that often left me feeling drained. Instead, I focused on whole, unprocessed foods, fruits, vegetables, grains, and lean proteins. I found joy in the simplicity of a well-prepared meal, and with each bite, I felt more in tune with my body's natural rhythms. It was liberating to let go of the distractions that had previously clouded my mind, allowing me to focus on the essentials that truly mattered. Nourishing the body, elevating the soul. What struck me most about Stoicism's connection to healthy eating was how deeply it intertwined with the soul. The Stoics believed that by taking care of the body, we could create a foundation for a clear and focused mind. This connection between the physical and the spiritual resonated with me profoundly. I realized that when I ate poorly, not only did my body suffer, but my mind became clouded, and my emotional state fluctuated. The idea of nourishment took on a new meaning. It was no longer just about calories or nutrients, it was about fueling my soul's journey. I started to view food as a sacred gift, one that could elevate my spirit and bring me closer to living in accordance with nature. Every meal became an opportunity to reflect on how I was treating both my body and my soul. I ate with intention, gratitude, and awareness, knowing that the choices I made would shape the quality of my thoughts, emotions, and actions. The role of discipline in the Stoic diet. Discipline is central to Stoic philosophy, and it became a key aspect of my approach to food. The modern diet culture often promotes extremes, whether it's indulgence or restrictive dieting. But Stoicism taught me to find balance through discipline. I didn't need to deprive myself or give in to every temptation. Instead, I practiced moderation. By applying Stoic principles, I learned to listen to my body's needs and distinguish between true hunger and emotional cravings. When I felt the urge to eat mindlessly, I would recall the Stoic concept of ataraxia, inner tranquility. My goal was not to suppress my desires but to bring them under the control of reason, aligning my actions with my higher purpose. Over time, this disciplined approach to eating became second nature, and I found a sense of peace in knowing that I was nourishing my body in the best possible way. Stoic fasting, a practice for the body and the soul. As I delved deeper into Stoic philosophy, I encountered the practice of fasting, which many Stoics engaged in as a way to cultivate self-mastery. Fasting is not about deprivation, but about strengthening the will and deepening one's understanding of the body's relationship to the soul. Inspired by this, I began experimenting with intermittent fasting. What surprised me was how fasting became a spiritual experience. By abstaining from food for set periods, I gained greater insight into my impulses and learned to appreciate the value of each meal. Fasting brought clarity to my mind, and I noticed how much of my eating was driven by habit rather than necessity. When I broke a fast, the food tasted richer, and I was more aware of the nourishment it provided. Fasting also gave me a sense of control over my body's desires. I realized that hunger was not something to be feared but a natural sensation that I could observe and manage with calmness. This practice, deeply rooted in Stoic discipline, allowed me to cultivate resilience both physically and mentally, strengthening my character in the process. Gratitude for food, a Stoic meditation. Gratitude is often overlooked in today's fast-paced world, but it is a central component of Stoic practice. The Stoics emphasized the importance of recognizing the abundance in life, even in the simplest of things. This led me to develop a habit of expressing gratitude for the food I consumed. Before each meal, I took a moment to reflect on the journey that brought the food to my plate, the farmers who grew it, the labor involved in its preparation, and the gift of nourishment it provided. This simple act of gratitude transformed my relationship with food, turning every meal into a mindful meditation. I no longer ate out of convenience or habit, but with a sense of appreciation for the sustenance that supported my body and soul. Gratitude also helped me cultivate a greater sense of humility. The Stoics often spoke of our interconnectedness with nature, and I began to see how food connected me to the earth and to others. This awareness deepened my respect for the environment and reinforced my commitment to sustainable, conscious eating practices. Stoic wisdom for emotional eating. One of the greatest challenges I faced on my journey was emotional eating. Like many people, I had developed a habit of turning to food for comfort during times of stress, sadness, or boredom. But Stoicism taught me that these emotions were not reasons to eat, they were opportunities for self-reflection. Epictetus's teachings on emotional resilience were particularly helpful in this regard. He reminded me that external circumstances do not dictate our emotions, rather, it is our thoughts about those circumstances that cause distress. When I felt the urge to eat out of emotion, I practiced observing my feelings without judgment, asking myself, what am I really hungry for? Is it food? Or is it comfort, security, or distraction? This process of self-inquiry helped me break free from the cycle of emotional eating. I learned to sit with my feelings, face them head-on, and find healthier ways to address them, such as meditation, journaling, or physical activity. By doing so, I not only strengthened my emotional resilience but also gained greater control over my eating habits. Temperance, the Stoic key to balance in diet, temperance, or moderation, is one of the four cardinal virtues of Stoicism, and it plays a crucial role in maintaining a balanced and healthy diet. For much of my life, I struggled with finding that balance. I would swing between periods of extreme restriction and overindulgence, often feeling out of control in my eating habits. But Stoicism showed me that balance was not about strict rules or punishment, it was about living in harmony with nature and understanding the right amount needed to sustain a healthy body and mind. In this sense, temperance was not about depriving myself of pleasures but about consuming mindfully and with purpose. I learned to ask myself, am I eating out of hunger or habit? Is this food serving my body's needs or simply satisfying a fleeting craving? By practicing temperance, I found joy in moderation. The foods I once saw as temptations no longer had control over me, because I knew I could enjoy them in measured amounts without guilt or excess. This approach also extended beyond food to my overall lifestyle. I realized that balance in diet was linked to balance in other areas of life: exercise, rest, work, and relationships. Each element supported the other, creating a cycle of well-being that nurtured both my body and soul. As I cultivated temperance in my eating habits, I found greater stability in all aspects of my life. Stoic lessons on suffering and health. One of the most profound lessons I learned from Stoicism is how to deal with suffering, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. The Stoics believed that suffering is an inevitable part of life, but they also taught that we have the power to choose how we respond to it. This perspective became especially important when it came to my health and well-being. There were times when I struggled with my relationship with food, faced illness, or dealt with setbacks in my fitness journey. Instead of succumbing to frustration or self-pity, I turned to the Stoic principle of endurance, recognizing that these challenges were opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius's words echoed in my mind: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In moments of difficulty, I learned to accept my circumstances with grace and patience, knowing that they were part of the natural order. I began to see that challenges in maintaining a healthy diet were not obstacles to my progress but lessons in resilience and perseverance. Every slip-up, every craving, and every moment of discomfort became a chance to practice Stoic endurance, strengthening my character in the process. The interconnectedness of mind, body, and soul. As my journey into Stoicism deepened, I began to understand more fully how the mind, body, and soul are interconnected. The Stoics believed that living in harmony with nature meant aligning all aspects of ourselves: physical, mental, and spiritual. Through this lens, healthy eating was no longer just about the physical benefits of nutrition. It was about creating harmony between my body and my inner world. When I ate nourishing foods, I felt lighter, more focused, and more connected to my purpose. My mind became clearer, my emotions more stable, and my spirit more at peace. On the other hand, when I indulged in unhealthy habits, overeating, consuming junk food, or ignoring my body's needs, I noticed how it affected my thoughts and emotions. I felt sluggish, irritable, and disconnected from my goals. This realization reinforced the idea that what I fed my body had a direct impact on my soul. By choosing foods that aligned with my values and nourished my health, I was honoring both my physical and spiritual self. I began to see food as a form of self-respect, a way to care for the temple of my body and the clarity of my mind. The virtue of gratitude in eating, one of the most transformative practices I embraced on this journey, was the Stoic virtue of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful force that can shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance, from dissatisfaction to contentment. In the context of healthy eating, gratitude became a cornerstone of my approach to food. I realized how easy it was to take food for granted, especially in a world where convenience often overshadows the deeper significance of nourishment. But the Stoics taught me to appreciate every aspect of life, including the simple act of eating. I began to cultivate a practice of expressing gratitude before every meal, acknowledging the effort that went into producing the food. The farmers who grew it, the earth that nourished it, and the energy it would give my body. This practice of gratitude transformed my relationship with food. Meals became moments of reflection and mindfulness, opportunities to connect with the present and appreciate the abundance in my life. I no longer viewed eating as just a necessity but as a sacred act of self-care, one that fueled not only my body but also my soul. Stoic resilience in the face of food culture, in a world dominated by diet culture, quick fixes, and constant marketing of unhealthy options, it can be challenging to maintain a Stoic approach to healthy eating. The pressure to conform to societal standards or indulge in the latest food trends can be overwhelming. But Stoicism taught me the value of resilience, the ability to stand firm in my values, even when faced with external pressures. I learned to practice apatheia, the Stoic ideal of remaining undisturbed by external events. When I felt tempted by the latest diet fad or societal expectations around food, I reminded myself of what truly mattered, living in accordance with nature and caring for my body and soul. This resilience helped me stay grounded in my choices, even when they went against the grain of popular culture. By adopting this Stoic mindset, I found freedom from the noise of diet culture. I no longer felt the need to chase the next big trend or measure my worth by the standards set by others. Instead, I focused on what was within my control, my decisions, my actions, and my commitment to living a life of virtue through healthy eating. Community and connection through Stoic eating. The Stoics emphasized the importance of community and our interconnectedness with others. They believed that we are all part of the same human family, and our actions should reflect our responsibility to one another. This concept of sympathy, the Stoic idea of mutual care and support, extended into my approach to food and eating. I realized that healthy eating was not just a personal journey but a communal one. The choices I made about food had an impact on the world around me, on the environment, on the people who produced the food, and on my relationships with others. This awareness led me to make more conscious decisions about where my food came from. Opting for sustainable, ethically sourced options whenever possible, I also began to see meals as opportunities to connect with others. Sharing food became a way to build relationships, foster community, and practice the Stoic virtue of kindness. Whether cooking a meal for loved ones or participating in a communal gathering, I found that food had the power to bring people together and strengthen our bonds. Stoic reflections on the journey of healthy eating. As I reflect on my journey of embracing Stoicism in healthy eating, I am struck by how profoundly it has changed my life. What began as a simple desire to improve my physical health evolved into a deeper exploration of the mind, body, and soul. Stoicism taught me that healthy eating is not just about the foods we consume but about the mindset and values we bring to the table. Through the practice of self-control, temperance, gratitude, and resilience, I developed a relationship with food that nourished both my body and soul. I learned to eat mindfully, to honor the connection between my physical and spiritual self, and to live in harmony with nature. This journey is ongoing, and I continue to learn from the wisdom of the Stoics each day. But one thing is certain: Stoicism has given me the tools to approach healthy eating with purpose, clarity, and joy. It has empowered me to live a life of balance, where the choices I make around food support not only my physical health but also the well-being of my soul.